Okay, next up we have our VS Code module of the week, and that one is something I just saw advertised, and literally advertised, brand new in beta. So this thing called Anima, I think, Anima. How would you pronounce that, Brad?
Anima? I don't know, it looks like animation, but I don't actually
Yeah.
know.
So I'll pull that up here to show you guys what it looks like. But it's Anima, so it takes your Figma design to code. So it's a front-end coding assistant. So basically, you can take your Figma design and it'll actually go ahead and convert your Figma designs into React code. So I know a lot of people using React these days, but it'll generate the boilerplate React components and layout directly from your Figma designs. And so I know that a lot of people are working this way now, where they basically mock up stuff and everything, and then, instead of the old days we had to slice it in Photoshop or Fireworks would basically take images and slice them all up and fill them in ourselves with the rest. Now you can actually take your Figma designs and convert them to React code, and I think there's some other tools doing similar things for other front-end frameworks. But the whole idea is that once you got your design, you can basically generate all the boilerplate you need. And of course, they've got a guided UI development coming soon with some AI stuff, which will receive real-time guidance to ensure your code aligns perfectly with the design, accelerate your development, and maintain consistency across your code base. And if you want to see the real spiel, we'll go over here to the Anima app and find out a little bit more about it. Designed to code. And so, a video for those watching. So you turn Figma components into code.
I don't know what Figma is, I'll be honest. I don't do front end stuff, and I've never heard of Figma.
So Figma is kind of like the Envision app, where you basically do all the drawing and stuff. But the cool thing about it in these new versions, when you do a design like this and you click on something, it'll give you the style sheet component. So if you have a button or a card, it'll generate all the style sheets you need from it. And so in here, it's actually doing more than that. It's generating the input files and the HTML code that you need to basically make that card work. So even if you're not using,
you basically design it in a nice little drag and drop WYSIWYG interface, and then it says, "Here's what you would actually use for the styles to create this."
Yeah, and Figma is the company that Adobe tried to buy for $40 billion, and they ended up not being able to because it was anti-competitive, and so they still had to pay Figma $1 billion as a backup fee. So Figma got $1 billion for not getting bought out, and so now
good for them.
Yeah, so they were going to kill it. Of course, they were trying to make their stuff better and probably kill it. So now,
right, they were going to suck it in and to eliminate the competition.
Yeah, so Envision Code is going out of business as well. So that company's been around forever, so they're going out of business. Figma got bought as well. There would have been just Adobe stuff left, and
yeah, I had seen that about Envision. Do you know what happened with Envision?
They got bought up by a bigger company, and then I think it's the whiteboard company, Milo, and they're incorporating some stuff, but basically they're merging. If you listen to Working Code podcast, they talk about it a little bit, but I mean, essentially at the end of the year, Envision app will be no more. So, but I think it's a whiteboarding
service,
Milo. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ben goes through all the emotions in the Working Code podcast, talking about it and everything, and it's he's been there since the start. He was one of the founders. He sort of moved off the board after in more recent times, but still got a lot of love with the legacy platform and even the newer stuff when they went microservices. But yeah, so it sounds pretty cool. I know that we use Figma for a couple of clients, and Adobe XD is sort of dying, so I thought they were going to replace it with a Figma thing. So I don't know what everyone's using these days now. So I guess Figma is.
I use Microsoft Paint.
Well, we know your design skills.
My go-to tool.
Yep, exactly. Well,
yeah, we had to have someone on the team recently add some pretty styles and colors to something I had just stubbed out, and it was just absolute ugly tables, but it worked.
Yeah, well,
that's how I design ugly.
Well, I did a mock-up of something, a proof of concept recently, and it was just a mock-up, and I knew someone was going to make it look better too, but I didn't want to make it look terrible. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's really cool! It looks better than what Brad would do." I'm like, "Thanks, that's a really low bar for me to achieve."
Yeah.
It looks better than Brad's. Oh,
I didn't even try to make it look pretty. So yeah, I have a very low bar to suppress.
I know, but they said I was like, it's better than you. I'm like, it bloody better be. I got a little pride in my stuff.
Any amount of effort at all should be better than what I would make when it comes to design.
Too funny.
That was our VSCode hint, tip, and trick of the week. Brought to you by Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, proudly sponsored by Order Solutions. You can see the new episodes every week on cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io or on the Order Solutions YouTube channel.